All right, well, Lululemon founder Chip Wilson, he's putting up $100 million of his own money to find a cure for a rare genetic disorder. The Vancouver billionaire says he was diagnosed with a type of muscular dystrophy known as FSHD more than 30 years ago. Now, it causes progressive muscle degeneration and weakness, so he started a new venture called Solve FSHD, which aims to cure the disease by the end of 2027. Now, the majority of Wilson's investment will go towards supporting startup companies with the goal of accelerating development of new therapies. And Chip Wilson joining us live here this morning on CP24 Breakfast. Thanks so much for being here, Chip. Appreciate your time.
Good morning.
Having me. Thank you.
So tell us more about your investment, $100 million. It's obviously a lot of money. How does that compare to the money already attributed to FSHD research, and how is this going to help then?
Well, actually, I don't know that. I mean, there's societies all over the world. There hasn't been a cure yet. Basically, the $100 million that we're putting in, we have to have. Well, we did a study with McKinsey, and we put $1 million into that. And they kind of came back and told us that what the bottlenecks were. And the first bottleneck was that there were no clinical studies. Mm-hmm. There were no clinical studies because there was no markers in the blood to test whether someone had actually improved or not. And because of that, there's no people there's not enough people to do clinical studies. So part of this $100 million is to get people to sign up for registries, basically.
Okay, and Chip, I know a bit about your history. You're actually quite an avid athlete. You swam competitively when you were 10 years old. You were a triathlete after you founded your first company, I believe. So you were diagnosed with this disease, facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. Pardon me if I'm butchering it. How did that affect? Thank you. How did that affect your life, being someone who was so active, who created this industry of athleisure, now worth hundreds of billions of dollars? So how did discovering that you had this really impact your life, and still continues to?
Well, I just continued to pivot from, like I said, swimming to triathlon to squash to climbing to and it you know, for me, I'm super positive. I'm always going to figure out something to do. And I figure even when I'm old, I'll probably do wheelchair racing. If I can't do that, then I'll be crawling down the hallway. I'll figure out something to do. But so that it's just a matter of pivoting, and it's you know, most people do it as they age. It's just going to be at an exponential rate for me, especially I'd say in the last 4 months or so.
So Chip, is that why 2027 is so important as a target date for you? Does that kind of, would that also help you in sort of you overcoming this?
I don't know if that's so important. I've just been always very goal-oriented, and I find that setting goals properly has things actually happen. And so, and then, you know, with that, then I know how to spend the $100 million. I know what type of people to hire to do it, and I know what kind of companies I want to get involved with, ones that are going to have a solve by December 31st, 2027.
And Chip, what is the prevalence of FSHD, and how many people in the world are actually affected by this disease?
Well, we only know about 1 million. Mm-hmm. One of the big issues is that doctors really don't know how to assess it. A lot of times, parents will just see their child out in the soccer field and just not being very coordinated, and then it kind of starts from there. But it's because it moves very slowly or it moves very fast, and sometimes it starts when you're a young child and sometimes it starts when you're older. So these are all part of the problems with diagnostics.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chip, you know, you're putting up $100 million of your own money. I know in sort of philanthropic circles and in circles that you sort of move in financially, that you often put up challenges. Are you challenging any other people to sort of step up and help contribute to sort of work towards solving FSHD?
Well, yes. On top of doing the grants to people where there's really no money in it, which is in the clinical trials or the registries, we'll be making investments in private companies or maybe even public companies to allow them to move some of their resources from what they're doing into FSHD. On top of that, we may, and I think it's a very good chance, we're working on it now, do a prize, a very large prize, maybe a $30 million prize in order to solve FSHD. Now, what that does is it brings everybody out of the woodwork. So anybody who's got any idea, even a wild idea, and this is where mostly the best ones come, now would have incentive to shift whatever they're doing into FSHD.
Okay, Chip, while we have you, I have to ask you, the company that you founded and are a shareholder of, Lululemon, made a pretty big announcement yesterday on International Women's Day that it's launching a line of footwear designed for women. What do you think about that?
Well, I've been knowing it's been coming for a long time. I mean, I'll have to actually get my hands on on a shoe. I mean, my hope is that it's the best technical shoe that's ever been made, and it isn't just a mass market shoe. That would be my business goal, because if you start in the middle, it's very hard to go up. Where if you start at the top and you are supplying the best shoe in the world for an athlete, then you're going to end up owning more of the market as you can then move into streetwear and other types of uses.
Okay, well, Chip Wilson, that does it for our time this morning. But thank you for joining us to talk about this important initiative, and good luck with Solve FSHD.
Good luck indeed. Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye then.
Bye.